Hey everybody, astrology time. Shane here. Let's go, shall we? Okay, so dailyastrocat.com. You know where you're at. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get astrology. Boy, do I have the Shanest of Shane diversions for you today. Okay, that's why I had to introduce myself, because I'm Shane, I'm the astrologer. And look, here we go. So we're going to have the moon enter the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius at 8:45 in the morning here on the East Coast of the United States. Those are the times that I use because that's where I live. Oh, the diversions of a void of course moon. Now, what we can learn, what can we learn? And what are we going to learn when we put ourselves in a search mode, right? Now, MJAR on TikTok wrote me a question about the 18 minutes that it took to compose or to record White Christmas. It wasn't actually recorded on the 29th of May, 1942, but it was recorded then. Irving Berlin supposedly started writing it in 1938, and then took it off the shelf for a movie. So anyway, look, so I went down an Irving Berlin, Bing Crosby rabbit hole to verify that the song White Christmas did indeed only take 18 minutes to lay down the track. And it did. Interestingly enough, the song was recorded in 1942 on a wax master. Now, they take these wax masters and they use them to create metal masters. There's a whole process where they do it. And White Christmas was so popular that it was the metal master wore out due to repeated pressings. And a new version of it was recorded in 1947, March of 1947. Now, this version was carefully engineered to sound as close to the 1942 original as possible. This version, and this is the version that we're used to hearing today. That 1947 version of it, right? Which was close to the 1942 version. Now, this is the Jupiter in Cancer moment. This is a Jupiter in Cancer moment, okay? If there ever was one. Seriously, okay? Home, nostalgia, a melancholy, wistful tone, right? It's devoid of polarizing religion, of religious imagery, right? Carl Sandburg, one of the poet laureates, right? He used to write reviews in Chicago for a newspaper. He noted in a 1942 review that way down under the latest hit of Irving Berlin, the latest hit of his, Irving Berlin catches us where we love peace. Okay, so this is Jupiter's parting gift to us. Jupiter in Cancer is exalted, and soon Jupiter will be exiting Cancer for the bright and brassy fanfare of Leo. This coming full moon isn't so much about what we're going to change or what it is that we are culminating. It's about securing our foundation and building a legacy that stands in the face of the noise of modernity and encourages us to embrace our own traditions lovingly, inclusively, and pass them along to future generations. Today's keyword is actually action, okay? Because it took action, 18 minutes of action to get that song recorded. It's going to take us a little bit longer to get our stuff done, though. And our color is the soft blue shadow of newly fallen snow. Snow in May, Shane. Seriously? Yeah, seriously. Shanest of Shanes, right? Yeah, that's what this is. So, Gemini season is very useful, and this forecast is an example of how mutable signs can work together to bring about disparate and hybrid results. What are the mutable signs you're talking about here? Gemini and Sagittarius, right? The sun in Gemini, moon in Sagittarius. Now, are you mentally prepared to allow yourself this type of latitude to be able to make those leaps and jumps? Too many times we're fighting with the tech in our jobs, or just various things, and this becomes the focal point. And honestly, I believe that today is showing us that we don't need to complicate things, nor should we overthink them. The tools are there to allow us to transform the creative input into results and let that stand on its own merit. I'm not trying to force a result, but when you produce the result, you let the result stand on its own merit. Pretty interesting, right? Now, the moon in Sagittarius will take the path of highest learning and least resistance, because that's what it does, right? Yeah. So, she is trine Neptune. So we got to be careful, right? We got to avoid the distractions and finish what it is we need to do. Those trines, they're very, very positive, but they're also a little on the taken for granted side. It can come too easy, and it's not like an aspect that you have to work for. Now, I'm constantly tweaking my process here with dailyastrocat.com, and while the algorithms shift, I'm constantly applying what I'm learning. Today, I'm going to experiment with the changes that I implemented on the short versions. Remember when I asked you about putting the number in there and the color? It seems to have had an effect on the algorithm somehow, and it's down, and it's making it difficult for me to post cover pictures to my longer versions too. And I'm not sure. I didn't do anything to longer versions, and I'm not sure if that's just a peccadillo with TikTok at the moment or not. They'll probably resolve that in some way, shape, or form. However, the short version got throttled yesterday, so I'm going to just take that stuff off of there and see what happens. Before, with the abbreviated introductions and stuff like that, where I don't bother introducing myself or didn't tell you what you were listening to, on the 2-minute version, actually doubled the penetration and reach of those posts. So stay tuned here. We might have a little tutorial on how to increase your visibility through the algorithms of various social media as I learned them myself, right? Now, that's all about me. Now, what are you going to do with this kind of energy? What is it that you need to do? That's really what it is about. It's not about me. I just tell you what I'm going through because it illustrates some of the points, and it does it nicely for the most part. So, look, our last aspect today is a friendly 60-degree sextile between the moon and Pluto. Now, sextiles are just like the squares that I told you about the other day. They're angles, right? We have, they're 2 signs apart. So with the moon being in Sagittarius, that means that Pluto in Aquarius is 2 signs away. We just skip Capricorn and then we go right to Aquarius, right? 60 degrees. Now, sextiles are kind aspects, right? They're nice. They're helpful, and they represent opportunities and a degree of assistance from the planets and signs involved. So that way there you have Aquarius helping out the moon in Sagittarius with this whole thing that we're going through, right? There's a little bit of a change aspect there, a technological aspect there that's going to be helping us out. Now, surely we're in the mood to take all of this in because the moon is basically our emotions and moods, right? And use recent changes, Pluto, right, does changes, as a basis for wrapping our heads around seeing this coming lunation in Jupiter-ruled Sagittarius as the opening act of our next new moon in Cancer. Oh, that's a loaded statement. There's a lot there, right? Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So we have Jupiter ruling the moon in Sagittarius. It's this blue moon. Now, we told you that the blue moon is introspective and it's spiritual. It's not really one for manifesting too much, but what we're doing is we're beginning to manifest. It's not culminating a lot. Well, there is a lot of stuff culminating. We're trying to end some stuff so we can get into that peaceful part so that when the order is restored, when the moon's new in Cancer, and then we follow up with that full moon in Capricorn, that restores a bit of a natural order to things and a natural feel. And besides feeling natural, it's just going to feel a little bit better, right? We're going to feel more like we're able to get into the flow. And I think the flow will actually go better at that point. So that's actually what I mean by this new moon. The certain little manifestations, micro manifestations that we're going to be making during it are actually going to be built upon. And then we can make those fuller manifestations when that moon is in Cancer, because when that new moon occurs in Cancer. So here we go. That's a lot, right? Now, in 1868, Decoration Day. What is Decoration Day, anyway? Well, it's later called Memorial Day. So the first Memorial Day was actually in 1868 on this day, and it was first observed in the northern United States because Civil War, obviously. but it was in 1868, so that they observed it here in the north, and then it carried over into Memorial Day for everybody. And our birth, we're going to keep with this Bing Crosby thing going on, right? Is 1914, Bobby Sherwood. He's an American jazz and session guitarist, and he played with Bing Crosby from 1933 to 1940. He's a big band leader, disc jockey, born in Indianapolis, Indiana, and he died in 1919. Now, if I didn't go down to my rabbit holes today, that's all I would be telling you. But it turns out that Bobby Sherwood actually was quite a busy guy. Was announcer and disc jockey and did stuff in New York City, various shows and stuff like that. He married Judy Garland's sister, Dorothy Virginia Gum. Now, who would have known that Judy Garland would have a sister named Dorothy? Dorothy, right? Of all things. So, and he was the band leader for Judy Garland's Decca recordings. Okay, he actually died in Auburn, Mass. So he retired to Massachusetts. His son is William Wyman Sherwood, and he's currently the touring bass player for Yes. So, holy cow, you wouldn't know that from that one little line, but I went down the rabbit hole just for you. So let's recap, shall we? Rabbit holes abound. Love them, right? These mutable signs. Ooh, this is so much fun. All right, so our keyword is action, because we have to take some kind of action. All right, we're basically securing a legacy here, but in order to do so, we have to make the first move. And our color is the soft blue shadows of new fallen snow. I just love that color, don't you? I mean, even though it's springtime here and we got green all over the place, that blue, there's something about that. It's very Sagittarius, too. And that's all I have for you. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for coming by. Please comment. MJAR, you did this, right? This is something that you mentioned just by saying 18 minutes with a question mark. Let's verify it. Let's go back. Let's go down the rabbit hole together, okay? Leave your questions. Leave your comments. We'll go down that rabbit hole every single time. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you. I appreciate and love every single one of you. Today's the 6th. Happy astrocatting.